Hello, it's Kathy at Move It or Lose It podcast. We are really excited for this holiday season. Our team and you guys have picked your favorites for 2024. So enjoy the holiday season, listening to some and seeing some that you may have missed this year. Enjoy the holidays. We wish you happy holidays and take a rest, take a seat during some of this time and take a listen at some of MS Disrupted, Move It or Lose It podcasts that you may really enjoy. Enjoy the season. Hello, I am your host, Kathy Chester, and welcome to the Move It or Lose It podcast, a podcast about all things that move the mind, body, and soul. The Move It or Lose It podcast is for information, awareness, and inspirational purposes only. I am not a doctor, and I don't even play one on TV. So please consult your doctor before making any medical decisions. The views expressed by advertisers, guests, or contributors are their opinions and not necessarily the views of the Move It or Lose It podcast.
Do you know anyone that is struggling with walking or any spasticity in their body? I know that I do with multiple sclerosis and many people that I love. Well, not too long ago, I came across a company called Pulse Devices. Let me tell you, nothing like anything else I've ever tried before. Pulse Device uses local vibration therapy, and it's based on years of scientific literature. It found the vibration to dramatically reduce spasticity and improve motor function for MS patients. Something, wow, I know that I can use and so many people can use. So if you want to pick up yours today, they're giving us at MS Disrupted, all caps, MS Disrupted, $30 off your Pulse device. Go grab it, see how you like it. Make sure that you use the coupon, and don't forget, they are a great company. If you do not like the product, they will take it back with a full refund. Thank you, Pulse Device.
Hello, I am your host, Kathy Chester, and welcome to the Move It or Lose It podcast, a podcast about all things that move the mind, body, and soul. The Move It or Lose It podcast is for information, awareness, and inspirational purposes only. I am not a doctor, and I don't even play one on TV. So please consult your doctor before making any medical decisions. The views expressed by advertisers, guests, or contributors are their opinions and not necessarily the views of the Move It or Lose It podcast.
And what a lot of people are coming to us and saying is, I've tried EMS and it works great when it's on because that EMS is causing those involuntary contractions, those artificial contractions is what we like to say. But those artificial contractions are only temporary. It's not actually helping me to strengthen the muscle. It's not helping me during my movements. So we really like to say that our product is a way to naturally improve your performance and your rehabilitation because it's actually helping you consciously focus on that muscle so that when you're not using our product, maybe down the line, you won't have to use any products. And
I love that.
Yeah, and that's
like win. Because that when they leave there is when I get, because physical therapy, what I wanted was to have them after. So when you're done and you can no longer, okay, I'm done, is what struck my heart. Is okay, then they're lost. What do I do now? How do I exercise? So that is what really hit my heart. Okay, so now I don't have anything to help me. And so that is what I love what you said, is because what do? They need to have something that is still there that they can still strengthen. And so I love that. That's perfect. I love that.
Yeah, and the great thing too about our device is since it's so gentle, you can actually still load the muscle. The biggest thing with muscle growth is really weight training.
Right.
And a lot of times with something like an EMS device, you can't load that muscle
Right.
because it's just causing these really strong contractions. Since
Right.
our device really just gently activates the muscle and helps you focus it, there's no additional risk associated with basically using
Right.
somewhat heavier weight. We still recommend that you don't use anything above 60% of your 1 rep max. Um,
Right.
if you're trying to really strengthen a muscle and you want to weight train, you can do
Hmm.
that with virtually no additional injury risk using our product,
Interesting. Yeah.
which is a nice little benefit to it as well.
Yeah.
And then, really, the final benefit that we've heard feedback from thus far,
Uh,
just the ability to improve circulation, which can really
yeah.
help with things like fatigue.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
when you use our recovery settings specifically and one of our warm up settings that also operates at a high frequency, you notice a pretty substantial difference in temperature.
Uh,
So if you actually put your fingers directly where the device was sitting after you use one of those settings, you will notice that it is a little warmer or a lot warmer.
Interesting.
And again, going back to fatigue, one of the big things with MS is obviously just tiredness
Yeah.
and back to that weakness. So, um, we've heard a few people mention that, not a ton yet, but that's something that we're hoping to get
Yeah.
more feedback on soon.
Yeah, they're very interesting because the fatigue, like I'll do like my workouts with my clients, and then I'll do a normal workout with like, my friends or my husband, and I'll go to like do a chest press, and I'll notice I'm left-handed, and my left side, I'll push up like 30-pound dumbbells, and I'm like, what's going on with my left arm? Like I'll go up and I'm like, and it just won't go. And I'll
Yep.
notice weakness in my left arm, like, absolutely not. And I'm like, "Ugh." And so, but I noticed I need something to help that arm all of a sudden not every day, but that one side's just getting a little weaker.
Yep.
So yeah, I can tell that. And I'm just like, why it's making me mad. So very interesting. I'm very competitive. So I'm like, I will lift this. So
Yeah.
very interesting. I love how that you can put it on a different area and just as something to strengthen that area.
Yeah.
So
And
soft, not super like, it's a soft thing. It's not this like harsh thing on you.
totally. And I've had my own personal experience with that too, because I actually partially tore my right rotator cuff.
Oh gosh,
Um,
that's so horrible.
Yeah, and as you can imagine, the weakness after of just no use and the atrophy was terrible. And
Yes.
I'm competitive like you, so I was trying to do everything I could to start training like I used to again. And
Right.
I can honestly say the device helped me a lot with that because it really just
That's
gave me that extra
awesome.
kick. And you'll actually notice one of the we have a lot of reviews on this on our website, but one of the things you'll notice is that you will do more reps while using our product.
That's great.
Yeah, it's really strange.
Yeah.
We still haven't figured out exactly the timing of the vibrations that has the best effect on this. But we actually did this student at a high school. It's called
Uh,
Servite High School in California. He's now studying at UPenn, but he did a preliminary research study for us on the ability of our device to improve motor function across
okay.
a wide range of basically it was high school students and some college students. But the improvement in rep range was dramatic across the board,
Wow.
which was really, really interesting. And again, we're still
Yeah.
finding those settings, but we we have we have a bunch of settings that have shown this to happen. So it's really cool.
That's so cool. I'm so interested in it. It's just really an awesome thing. I mean, it must be so exciting for you guys to see where it started, where you guys just wanted to see like what we could do with our workout, and now where it's flying to. That must be
Absolutely.
really cool.
I mean, I gotta say, it's become even more fulfilling than it initially
Yeah.
was because we're helping really a lot of underserved people.
Yeah.
And to be quite fair, we're not anywhere close to where we want to be yet. Again,
Right.
I mean, we're just releasing our first dedicated rehab setting sometime over this next week, hopefully.
Wow.
But going back to just some of the feedback we've gotten, it's really interesting. Sorry, I know I'm rambling. I hope this
No,
is.
you're good.
Hi, this is Kathy at MS Disrupted. If you have not joined me on a one on one session, I'm going to say you're missing out. I love each and every one of my clients. To do MS Disrupted workout is something that I've trained for many years. And I'm not talking just multiple sclerosis, but many other autoimmune diseases, and also stroke patients and patients that have had head injuries. If you know someone and love someone that needs help, or you yourself needs help with movement, we now know that this is our biggest defense. Does it mean burpees? I don't know, maybe for some of you, but what it really means is allowing our body to move and having a coach, having someone that knows what they're doing. Why? Because I have it. And why? Because I'm trained. So let's do it together. Go on to msdisrupted.com or email me at msdisrupted@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Let's do it together.
I think you
You're
sent me this
good.
question. But
No,
one of
if
the
you
things,
didn't, I'll tell you, but you're all good. You're so far,
sweet,
you're answering the stuff I asked. You're
awesome.
good.
Yeah, it's interesting because one of the things I want to talk about is the feedback is still across the board. Um,
Yeah.
and this is something that, again, we're working on daily to try to figure out because one of the things we found specifically with MS patients is if you are suffering from a very severe case of MS, let's say PPMS, and you
Yeah.
have dealt with complete paralysis
Mhm.
or a complete loss of gait, and you can't walk and stuff like that, our product has not been showing substantial benefits to those groups of people. And
Uh,
it sucks because obviously we're getting some incredible feedback from some people
right.
with MS, and we want to be able to help everyone. And some of the science shows that if you have a longer term protocol, that these people with those severe conditions might be able to actually reap the
Sure.
same kind of benefits. But we're still figuring all that out. And literally, I mean, just today we stumbled upon an article from one of the people on our research team, and it says that a lower frequency might actually help some of these people that are dealing with severe nerve problems.
Right.
And it's so interesting because we've been using high frequency the whole time for
Right.
people. So there's a lot of little things like that, and that's the other side of the coin, right? I mean, we're still figuring this out, and we want.
Hmm.
And again, going back to the return policy, this is why we really want you to try the product and
Right.
determine if it's going to help you, and if you need an
Yeah.
extension to keep trialing it because you're noticing some benefits. We're happy to give it to anybody that's trying it out.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's the other side of the coin. But going back to the positive side of things, I mean, we have gotten some incredible feedback that has made us just so invested in this. I
Oh,
mean,
I bet.
we were already obviously just so invested in this, but I mean, we heard from a really sweet woman recently who told us our device is the first device that has helped her naturally engage her tib anterior, which is the strongest
Wow.
dorsiflexor flexor of your
Right.
foot. And I mean, these kind of testimonials where people are thanking
Yeah.
you relentlessly and they have your back forever and ever because they're underserved. They haven't
Yes.
a solution that's at least as affordable or as accessible or whatever
Yeah.
as our product. I mean, it's super, super fulfilling.
Yeah.
So we've had some incredible success stories as well, but then we've heard from, again, some people with PPMS where they haven't noticed a difference, quite frankly.
Right. And
So
I'm curious if, and I don't know, I'm just curious if, like with their secondary or PPI, that if they just need to have it longer and they haven't been able to, because I mean, I know just training, it takes so much longer. And I always like encourage because, when I do work with them, it takes longer, but then there's nothing more exciting than getting a call. I stood up in the shower the entire time. And I'm like, yes. So it takes longer, but all of a sudden it switches, it triggers, and then it happens. And so it may just take longer than it would with someone like me who I haven't slipped into any of those. So it may just take a
totally.
longer time.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we're looking into now too. Again, since we haven't fully pursued the medical route because again, we're just a wellness device at this point, trying
Right.
to improve those same use or those same applications that people are using it for normally.
Mhm.
But it's interesting because we've definitely heard from some patients that are like, okay, I'm starting to notice a drastic improvement in my motor function, in my
Yeah.
strength, and they're about to get to the return deadline and they have some sort of breakthrough.
Yeah.
But it's going to require more just like internal testing on our end to see.
Sure.
And going back to the point of everyone's different, you could be noticing those benefits after 6 weeks or something along
Sure.
those lines. But I definitely think there's strong reason to believe that that is um, definitely a real possibility. That the more you use
Absolutely.
it, the more it's going to help you, and hopefully you'll have that breakthrough moment at some point.
I'm excited to see what it does with my crazy drop foot that started. I'm like, what is this? So I just think I'm excited to see what the product's going to do because I think it's going to blow up.
I
I
appreciate you
think it's
saying
going to
that.
be, I do. I think it's going to be amazing. I'm really
Yeah,
excited
thank
about it.
Yeah,
So,
no, and I'm very curious to see how it'll help your drop foot as well.
yeah,
And
I'm excited, like the little parts that I'm noticing, like what's happening.
mhm,
And, that's just like things change too with autoimmune. Like we may get on a new medication and all of a sudden we feel like our body changes, and that can help too because it's like what just happened. And it's not that our we notice it because our body didn't change that quickly as the medication has changed us, so it doesn't fit well with our bodies. And so that takes a lot because then we have to get the doctor to listen to us and say
yeah,
we're not taking this anymore, it does not fit with us. So no, I think it's going to be really good. If you could say so far, which I think you already have, has been the most like exciting thing, what would you say?
yeah. It unrelated to MS. It kind of relates to MS because it's similar patient population, but
Hmm.
the most incredible piece of feedback we've already gotten, and I guess major success I'd call it, is we've had a bunch of stroke patients now come to us and say, okay, this device is helping me improve motor function. But we had one patient in specific. This was pretty recently, actually, within the last couple of months. He he emailed this. He ended up writing us a bunch of really nice reviews. But he was unable to use his left hand,
Uh-huh.
and he's been using our device religiously on his wrist, using
Wow.
high frequency settings. And he's actually been able to regain motor function in his hand, and
Wow.
utilize his fingers again, which
Okay.
is, I mean, again, going back to the start of this process,
Wow.
we never in a million years thought we created something that could do.
Right.
So,
I'm thinking of one of the guys that I train has no ability to use his hand. So I'm going to tell him about it because he can't. It's so frustrating because he was a triathlon. He was they did everything. And now to have a stroke young and not be able to, he's able to walk a little bit more,
Mhm.
but he has no ability to use his hands. And it's so frustrating. So
Yeah, and
I'm going
it's
to let him know.
crazy because, again, going back to not knowing everything yet,
Right.
we didn't know exactly where you
What
were
you
even
had.
supposed to place the device, if you're dealing with that kind of problem.
Right.
What's so interesting is that our customers are telling us this now because, again, it's like you get one stroke patient that tells you, "Oh my gosh, I've had this incredible breakthrough using the device on my wrist." And now we get to go tell other people, "Hey, look, you might want to try this on your wrist,
Right.
if you want to improve functionality of your hand." So that was definitely one of the biggest successes. Um,
Wow.
and going back to the pins and needles thing too, specifically
Hmm.
for MS, we've gotten a bunch of comments about this, which is, people just can't really move how they want to because they're dealing with, again, either that pins and needles or just severe pain.
Yeah.
And our device has been able to help a lot of people in that note too. So that's been a really major success for us, specifically in
Yeah.
the PT world. And I may have mentioned this to you earlier, but one of the just big overall successes of our company is it's starting to get involved in a lot of professional sports
Oh,
teams,
yeah.
and stuff like that, which has been great too. Like we received one of the best testimonials we've ever gotten from the Chicago Bulls, strength and conditioning coach, who said
Yeah.
they've been using our device daily to help cue athletes to inhibited muscles.
That's so cool.
Yeah, which has been really awesome to hear. So people are starting to adopt it, which really just from an overall success standpoint has been one of our biggest goals because I mean, I totally get it. It's like there's this new product, it vibrates, but I don't really know why that works. And there's a lot of reasons to be skeptical about it.
Sure.
Especially when we're still figuring out stuff for ourselves too. So I understand people's skepticism, but it's now we kind of have so many professionals backing us at this point that you're almost forced to buy into it now. And we're not quite there yet, but we're getting like we actually two of the people on our team now that we call strategic partners. One of them is a really renowned doctor and surgeon, foot and ankle surgeon specifically at General Hospital. And then we also have another guy. He's the founder of a company called Neurokinetics Pro, which he essentially uses a wide range of techniques to help you move properly and function properly after a serious injury. So we've got some really incredible team members are backing this now. So it's been awesome to see from an overall success standpoint, people adopting the technology and being okay with using it in something like a physical therapy.
And, I go to Michigan for all of my healthcare. So if you want me to bring some to Michigan to the football players, I'll just say, hey, here I am. Let's go. So
I appreciate that.
To do it. We
I'm
are
gonna have to
house divided. I am all let's go blue. My husband is Michigan State. So
I will become the biggest Michigan fan if you do that.
All right.
Go blue.
I love it. So yes, go blue. I will absolutely. So no, I love it. I think it's a great idea. I'm excited to use it, and I'm excited to just see how it works and promote it. I think it's easy. I think you have just a very honest face, and I think the way you talk about it is just very honest and like, hey, we didn't know exactly what this was going to do. You don't come across arrogant like so many people do when they've got something that they come up with. You come across as just we are very excited what this is doing and very hopeful what this is going to do. But you don't come across like we knew this from the beginning. And we've got so many people backing us up, and we will never give you a refund. This is what it is, and it's amazing. So I think the way you approach it is very honest. And I think that helps a lot with people trusting you. So I think that you've got a very confident way, but a very empathetic way that you approach it. And we're really hoping that this helps people. And we had no idea what it was going to do, but it's amazing that it is. And so I think that that's a great way to approach it.
The Move It or Lose It podcast is proudly sponsored by Disrupting MS Together, designed to help you take control of your wellness while living with multiple sclerosis. Disrupting MS Together aims to increase mobility through functional movement. Coaches Kathy Chester and Molly Witt seek to connect the mind, body, and spirit with guided, focused online workouts and coaching. You'll get targeted workouts sent directly to your email and Q&A sessions with licensed coaches, early access to podcast episodes with experts in the industry, group workout sessions through Zoom, and curated content that you won't find anywhere else. Early bird pricing is only available for the pilot program, so don't wait. Check it out now. The program includes a tremendous amount of benefit from seasoned coaches who also live and thrive with multiple sclerosis. Learn more and take the leap today. Visit www.msdisrupted.com to learn more and snag your spot now while you can.
Thank you so much. I mean, those kind of comments mean the world to me because that's exactly what we're trying to do. And again, that's what fuels the fire for us. I mean, helping these people that we initially had no idea we were even going to help. And it's become so much bigger than just some weightlifting device for gym rats. It's really incredible. And again, really, really appreciate you saying that.
And I'm excited. I want to let Chris Dunbar has MS. He's a big weightlifter that I've interviewed. Tyler Campbell, his dad's a big Hall of Famer football player.
Very cool.
just people that I know in the MS world. So I want to let them know about it. And so I'll put a good word in for you with them, and definitely will redo this and see where you are in like a month or two, see where you've gotten. And I love this. So last question. What are you looking the most forward to? What is like the biggest thing that you're most excited about in the next few months?
Are you ready to disrupt your MS? I am. And to take charge of your health in the new year? Join Disrupting MS together, a holistic program designed just for you. We combine individual workouts, empowering mental activities, group Zoom sessions, and personalized wellness coaching to help you thrive with MS. This January, start building mind body connections that you deserve. Enrollment is now open. Right now, spaces are limited. Visit msdisrupted.com to reserve your spot today. Together, we are disrupting MS. And I'm so pleased to have Molly Witt with me as we disrupt MS together. You don't want to miss her mind body connection and her wellness. Let's do this together, guys. Let's not let 2025 be a year that we sit down and let MS take over. We are going to disrupt our disease. Let's go.
Yeah. So, and again, thank you for saying all that stuff. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Yeah. So there's two really big things that are actually about to happen, which we've been
Uh,
waiting to happen for a long time. One is the ability to connect up to 4 devices versus 2. So one of the biggest pieces of feedback we've been getting from physical therapists is for larger muscle groups like a
yeah,
quad, something along those
definitely.
lines. It would be really helpful to have 4 devices instead of 2. And then for athletic trainers and stuff, if they want to be working on multiple athletes, that's really helpful as well. So that's actually getting released within the next week,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
is great. And also just for people that need more sensory input.
Mm,
Some people, again, depending on their body type, might just need that extra feedback.
yeah.
So I think that will be really helpful. And then two is just those rehab settings, which I feel like I've probably mentioned 20 times already.
It's
It's
okay.
been so excited to release these because we have studied the literature like no other over these last 6 months, specifically, really
Yeah.
over the last year, but over these last 6 months, we've really put our heads down, and this has been the main thing we've been trying to do. So we've got a ton of new different settings being released.
Good.
I might have mentioned this too, but basically we had warm up settings, which are meant for helping reduce injury
Right.
risk after use and exciting the muscle, improving blood flow, yada, yada, those kind of things. And then the performance settings are built for workouts, really just proprioception and enhancing muscle activation.
Uh,
Then the recovery settings are all those wellness settings, pain relief,
right.
soreness relief, those kind of things. Now we have a full new section that's coming out for rehab. So it's going to be you're going to be able to get a lot more education from this section. So
Right.
the biggest pieces of negative feedback we've gotten is the fact that you might buy our product for something like drop foot or strength recovery after an ACL tear, something along those lines. And now we're adding all of this education tied to all of those different use cases, along with new settings that we think will help better.
Very good.
Because we had a lot of people that were having trouble navigating our app, understandably so, because we were selling them a product that was for something like strength recovery, but they might
Sure.
get the app and say, I don't see anything for ACL. What do I do?
Right.
So I'm really, really excited for that. And again, I think it's going to work a lot better for some of these people. And then in conjunction with that, we're also releasing a build your own setting functionality because we've actually had some clinicians tell us one of the things that would help here is the ability to randomize our settings. This has been a really interesting piece of feedback that we keep getting. It's like the brain could get used to some of these different settings if you use them for an extended period of time. So
Right.
it's really useful for a PT that's been working with a patient for 6 to 8 months or whatever it is, to say, hey, I'm going to actually change these settings completely.
Absolutely.
And we're going to give you some new stimulation that might have your central nervous system respond a little bit better.
Yeah.
So that's also releasing in conjunction with our rehab settings.
That's so smart.
Yeah, and then actually
Our brain just adapts fast.
very
Quickly.
fast. Yeah, and that's actually one of the unique, sorry, rambling again, but one of the really unique things about our product is we found a way to avoid neural fatigue, which is really cool because, like you mentioned, the brain adapts. And if you're working out for an hour and you've been using the device for an hour, your brain might stop noticing those
Yeah.
vibrations. But by having a long enough interval, and this only is true for some settings, because some settings you actually want that constant flow of stimulation. But for some settings, like the workout settings, by
Right.
increasing the off time in between each vibration, you can
Mhm.
avoid that neural fatigue almost completely for use time under 20 minutes, which is really
Yeah.
interesting. But going back to what I'm excited about, there's actually this really cool stroke certification course that is run by this guy's named Stephen Page, who's a friend of mine, and he's actually implementing the Pulse device into this course over these next couple of months because of its profound ability to improve motor function and how the science basically says local vibration can reduce spasticity. So he's implementing it into stroke certification, his stroke certification courses, and we are really, really excited for that because
Wow.
that is going to open up one of the biggest feedback loops for us.
Mhm.
Once more clinicians are able to get their hands on this, try it on a wider group of patients. So we are really, really excited to
That's awesome.
get into that course. So a lot of really interesting stuff in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Thank you again so much for having this conversation because
Absolutely.
this is the kind of stuff that we're looking to do so we can get our name
Yeah.
there and hopefully reach more people that might benefit from this.
For sure. I definitely want to check in. So we'll keep in touch. And then when some more stuff happens, we'll do it again and we'll see where you're at. But I'm super excited about it. I think this is a great device. I think you're going to do very well. So, very excited. If you guys have not heard about Pulse or not seen it, or you've seen it and not know what it was, how will it work for me? So now you've met Ethan. Evan couldn't be here. So Ethan's here. So you got a little bit of knowledge about it. So look into it and we'll be back with them so you get to hear some more. So whether you've had a stroke or you've got MS or you just love working out like I do too, so then you can see how this works for you. So I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be super cool. And if they want to reach you or learn some more, what is the way that they can get to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Check out pulsedevice.com or check us out on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, whatever it is at Pulse Device. And yeah, we're always around to connect. So if you have any questions, just shoot us a message or an email, whatever works best for you. But yeah, thanks again for having this
Absolutely.
conversation. And
Thank you for being with me.
of
It was
course, yeah,
great.
this was awesome.
Okay, I think it'll be really good. So let us know if you get one of the devices and what you thought. And I can't wait to hear you guys, your feedback and what you thought of tonight. So let me hear your feedback and you will see us back again. So have a great day today, guys. And I'll see you back next week at Move It or Lose It. Have a great night. Bye, guys.
Have a good one.
Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Move It or Lose It podcast. It would mean the world to me if you subscribed and left a review. Remember, you can find me on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. New episodes of the Move It or Lose It podcast air every other Wednesday. If you have any suggestions for future guests or topics, please visit my website at www.msdisrupted.com. Until next time.